All right, everyone. Congress here refuses to do its job and actually make sure that the border is secure. Right now, for some odd reason, the courts won't even allow existing immigration laws to be actually used. Like, there's no actual law against detaining people on the border for extended periods and deporting them. It's perfectly legal. It's something we've been doing for 1,000 goddamn years, but for some reason Trump's not allowed to because Orange Man bad. And somehow the Ninth Circuit is able to now create laws, it seems, because, again, out of the blue, has nothing to do with existing immigration law. So since the courts and Congress refuse to actually defend the border, Trump figured out a workaround. I can pressure Mexico to do it. You see the problems on the southern border. Their southern border is also very porous, but it's a lot smaller. Hey, maybe we can work something out. Hey, Mexico, I'm going to slap massive tariffs on everything unless you cooperate. And at first they hard-lined and they said, no, well, we're not going to do that. But then he reiterated and he says, no, I'm actually crazy enough to do that. Oh my God, let's start negotiating. So now negotiations have begun between the Mexican and United States governments. And hopefully they'll be swift, and hopefully they'll be amiable, and hopefully it doesn't lead to a tariff war or any dumb stuff like that. Here's the problem. The problem is this. Mexico's government might look forward to the next election and say, well, we think a Democrat will be elected, so we don't have to deal with this shit. But then again, the private marketplace in Mexico, being as it is, automotive manufacturers and things like that might tell them, please, Mexican authorities, please give Trump what he wants. It's not that big a deal. And then, of course, maybe they hope to remove that when he's gone, which could be 5 years from now. Here's the thing, though. Trump has had astonishing success in using tariffs to get what he wants. The idea is that if you believe in free trade, like in the case of China, you apply tariffs equal to the tariffs they're already applying, because China's cheating, essentially. They don't believe in free trade. The United States has, so you're just trying to get them to remove a couple layers of their own tariffs and regulatory system so that you can actually have a more fair arrangement. That's one goal. And it looks like that's kind of stalled out, but it might go forward. In the case of Europe, it was more targeted. It was basically just automotive. Germany folded within a day, gave Trump what he wanted, essentially. And now with Mexico, it's different because this isn't actually about economics directly. It's about the migrant crisis. The economic side was addressed with the USMCA, the overhaul of NAFTA. And so now he's saying, well, I think that I can up the ante a little bit, but I'm going to need some cooperation here. The nation of Mexico, yeah, they should build a fortification on their southern border, since our government is apparently unwilling and incapable of doing so. And that will stop a lot of the problem, because then people won't be as likely to make the trip here. Crossing on these fucking trains, you got 2,000-3,000 people, refugees or asylum seekers or the illegals, whatever you want to call them, coming to the U.S. border. Basically, they just cling to the side of a train and ride 500-600 miles. And it's insane. A lot of people, they get raped on the way, they get turned into drug mules, they get inducted into some cartel. Some of them might get radicalized on the way. A lot of them have communicable diseases. It's a fucking free-for-all. And something has to be done. It is definitely a national emergency. But with the speed with which SCOTUS takes up cases, it might take Trump years going through that to solve the problem. So this is his workaround, and I fully support it. Again, the idea is you don't actually want to have to apply the tariffs. You give a hard ask, a hard sell. You say, look, I'm going to tariff every friggin' thing in Mexico unless you give me, 100% of what I'm asking for. He's not going to get that, and he would never give that many tariffs because it would start a depression or something. It would be very, very bad, considering Mexico is right next to us and a major trading partner, one of our top two. Again, depending on which metrics I look at, it's either Canada or Mexico. One of them's number one, the other's number two. You don't want that to happen. He's already in a trade war with China, which is number 3 on our list. And China, by the way, reeling at the moment. Their investor class is begging the Chinese government to stop and just give Trump a little bit here and there and ease things down. Let's hope that happens. That way people can keep getting their cheap Apple products, their crapple products. Oh my God, I might have to pay $50 extra for something that's jacked up by 200%, contains a million proprietary loopholes that allow Apple to screw me in the ass at any given time. Wow, I'm such a great person. Look at how smart I am with my Apple phone. I hate Apple products, as you can tell. But Mexico looks like it's already ceding. Because initially it was like, no, we're not going to have a talk at all. We have the USMCA, that's that. No, fucking leave us alone. And Trump's like, he makes it clear that he's actually serious. And they're like, oh shit. You know, he's crazy enough to tariff a bunch of Mexican goods while also waging a trade war with China. And this sort of Kissinger strategy applied to the economy is actually working. When's it failed? It doesn't seem to have. He got the NAFTA overhaul. He got the European Union, specifically German automotive, to back down within 24 hours almost. He got China to agree to various talks. They're stalled out now, but progress has already been made. Some of it already was hammered out. Why should I believe if he can go up against China, which is a much bigger economy and much bigger diplomatic player on the world stage than Mexico by far, and a nuclear state to boot, if he can get China to agree to talks, make some headway, and generally have positive reviews in how he's handling it by maybe the more cerebrally minded crowd, then he can definitely do it with Mexico. Again, he managed to do it with Germany. Germany's a major economy. It is now, anyway. Maybe 50 years from now we'll see. But I think he can do it, and I think it's a good thing. It's for a good cause because again, Congress and the Ninth Circuit keep preventing him from securing the border. They won't even let him deport people. It's hilarious. The idea of deportation, it's been used by Democrats, Republicans. Nobody had a problem with it until the last year. All of a sudden, it's evil to even staff the border. All of a sudden, if someone can physically make it across the border, they are released in the U.S. without full processing. They don't need any papers, just a cursory, medical check, basically. They spend a few weeks there, and then they get let go of into a sanctuary state or city, which is, the right thing to do. It's like, well, your city doesn't believe in having a border, so, there's no border around your city. San Francisco should be a number one spot. They should bus every single one of them to the same place. All to California. Make them deal with the situation. They already get massive federal subsidies. Well, then fucking take care of the tired and poor huddled masses like you want to so much. Generosity begins at home, too. That's about all. Peace out.